Hey y'all, it's your girl Jada J. You know I had to come on in the cap and gown and everything. If you guys didn't know, I did graduate, which you probably don't know because I didn't say nothing. Because I forgot. And I was like, oh, snap. So I graduated on Friday, everybody. So your girl's a high school graduate, you know. I know I still got a long way to go. But I graduated. So these were the school colors, you know. Gold and, not gold. Am I colorblind, y'all? Silver and blue. Alright, and then you got the 2017. Look at that. Yeah, the 2017 thing. So, I don't know, I'm thinking about it. I might just keep this on the whole time, because my hair is looking kind of a mess. You see, because what happened was, it got wet. So, and then that's what it looks like. So, I might just keep the hat on. But then again, it's kind of annoying. So, we'll do it like that. So, how y'all doing tonight? How y'all doing? Sorry I got to the comments so late. But I definitely wanted to get to those comments because, like I said, those are like the highlight of my week. Alright, so yes, I wanted to get to the comments. Sorry I'm late. Okay, now you guys, I had the review all set and ready to go. I did it last night, and I get on the camera, I'm like, nah. Because I was just looking real bummy, and I was like, you know what? I can't get in front of people and talk. I can't get in front of my people and look like this. You know what I'm saying? Not saying I always look perfect or anything, because I do, but I didn't want to say nothing. So, I'm sorry about that. Here I am. Okay. I just got off of work, and I'm tired. That's how you know I got love for y'all, because I'm doing it. Okay. So, anyway, let's go right in. Sorry. This is the Haves and the Have-Nots. Season 5. Episode 13. My Grandson's War. Okay, and that title was perfectly fitting. Now, remember last week? And we leave off at the hospital where Jeffrey's like, you really have no sympathy, do you? And she's like, no, I don't. And then she's like looking down or something, and Catherine comes in, Veronica. And she goes, Catherine. So we open up right there, okay? So Jeffrey's like, oh, hi, Miss Cryer. And then she goes, Jeffrey, how are you? And then she's like, Veronica. She goes, Catherine. They're avoiding all eye contact. Like, there's no I wrote that down, avoiding all eye contact. And Catherine goes, what are you doing here? And, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, we're having problems. She goes, we're having problems with Melissa. And she goes, who? And she goes, Jeffrey's fiance. And Catherine goes, well, that's your first problem. She goes, excuse me? She goes, Veronica, he's gay. And he's engaged to a woman. That's your first problem. And she goes, Catherine. And then she goes, anyway, what happened, Jeffrey? And she goes, and Veronica goes, she's having complications with the pregnancy. And then Catherine goes, pregnancy? And then Veronica goes, yes. And she goes, so you're going to be a grandma? And she goes, yeah, and a flawless one at that. She's like, okay. And then Veronica goes, you look different. She goes, it's the middle of the night, Veronica. Because she knew she was being shady. She goes, it's the middle of the night, Veronica. Like, the heck? She goes, well, some of us never leave the house without looking our best. And she goes, is that your best? She goes, on a bad day. She goes, yeah, I can see that. Catherine is like really the only one I've seen who could really go toe to toe with her, because she got money. With Candace, she'll easily just throw out something about her being poor or just pathetic or something like that, but you can't, because first of all, she's an heiress, so she's richer than you, so she would never try and compare ranks with Catherine, which that's really all Veronica does is compare ranks. Oh, that's kind of cheap what you're wearing, that fabric. You're not going to be able to do that with Catherine. So she got the last one on her, but then Veronica ended up getting the last one on Catherine, then Catherine gets the last one on Veronica. So it's like I'm like, yes, I love this, because you like to see somebody be able to shut Veronica down. But at the same time, sometimes you want to see somebody shut Catherine down, so it's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, Candace had the crown for a minute, and with being able to go toe-to-toe with Veronica, and then it just kind of became sad because she was just dissing Candace every time she saw her. And that's what's happening still. Okay, so this was very nice seeing them kind of go toe-to-toe. Because it was like a fair fight, you know. So yeah, she goes, is that your best? She goes, on a bad day. She goes, I can see that. And she goes, so, Catherine, what brings you here? She goes, Hannah. She goes, Hannah the maid? She goes, yes, the maid, Veronica, my friend. She goes, Catherine, that is so sad. When did you start paying for friends? And she goes, that would be your MO, Veronica. She goes, how so? She goes, a fiance, daughter-in-law, a new baby? She goes, that couldn't have been cheap. And I was like, yes! Come on now! So then Jeffrey's like, wait, what happened to Hannah? And she goes, her grandson died. And Jeffrey's like, what? Candace's son? And she goes, yeah. He goes, what are you talking about? What happened? She's like, I'm not entirely sure. There was some type of shootout, and I guess he ended up being shot in the head. And he's like, oh my God, does Candace know? And then Catherine goes, well, how am I supposed to know that? Because, you know, she don't mess with Candace anyway, so she really don't care, honestly. So then he's like, I gotta call her. And she's like, no, you don't, Jeffrey. Just stop. And she's like, you have other things to be worried about. He was like, no, I'm calling her. She was like, Jeffrey, stop. He was like, no, I'm calling her. So he's calling Candace. And he's like, yeah, Candace, call me back when you get this. Appreciated his concern for Candace. That's what I'm saying. They always gonna be ace, boom, boom, but sometimes they get on my nerve as partners in crime. Alright? And then when she's doing that, talking about get off the phone, Catherine goes, don't push him, Veronica. I've seen him at his worst. And she goes, by the way, how's the arm? She goes, scarred. And yours? She goes, the same. She was like, now that is a shame. She goes, no, wait, what'd she say? Oh, no, she goes, well, you need to tend to that. She was like, for me and my skin, I use cocoa butter, tea tree oil, aloe. She goes, but for your skin, you may need surgery. And she was mute. Like, Catherine didn't say anything after that. And then you hear Jeffrey saying, Candace, call me back. And then Veronica's like, stop being so dramatic. Like, shut up, Jeffrey. And he goes, no, you shut up. And then so he's about to get up and walk away. And then we see Wyatt is being wheeled in. So Catherine, Jeffrey, and like Veronica kind of walks over there. But Jeffrey and Catherine kind of run over to him like, oh my gosh. And then we actually cut to, you know, the theme song and everything like that, commercial, and we come back. So everybody's like, what happened? Why? What happened? And then so Catherine is trying to comfort Wyatt. Okay, but he's like, no, get off me, get off me. So that was interesting to me because we know he's upset with Catherine because he got raped for the second time, and Mom, I wanted you and you still weren't around. Because he knows, I feel like he knows in the back of his mind that it was his dad's idea, but once again, Mom, like, you could have done something. I got raped for the second time as a grown man because you decided to go along with Dad's Scared Straight program. So he has some resentment toward Catherine. So it's interesting to see that he still had that there even when he's at his worst. Because that's usually when you want your mother the most, you know. Like, you know, we love our dads too, but I'm asking for Mom. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So it was interesting to see that for me. He was just like, no, get away from me. Like, don't touch me and all that. She was like, Wyatt, like, what is your problem? So they just wheel him back because he doesn't want to talk to her. And so then you have Anna, which is the rehabilitation woman, because Catherine is still trying to go back there. And Anna's like, well, just stop. She goes, who the heck are you? Some hoe that he got high with? And then Jeffrey's like, Mrs. Cryer. And she's like, no. You know, that's all he's done is, you know, get out. Well, no. Wait a minute. No, she goes, what is wrong with him? And then Veronica goes, apparently drugs. She goes, shut up, Veronica, because you know how protective I am when it comes to my son. So I suggest you just back off, okay? Seeing that on the preview, she was quiet, okay? So Anna is speaking kind of for him. She goes, he needs medical attention. And that's when she says, who are you, some, you know, that he used to get high with? And then Jeffrey's trying to calm her. Don't get her. Okay, I don't know what is going on here because I can't remember, but I'm just going to go as best as I can. Yeah, so Veronica says something to Catherine, and Catherine says, it was something in, like, reference to what happened to Jennifer. She goes, there are no witnesses. No. She goes, there are witnesses here, Catherine, so you won't be as fortunate as you were in that other situation. And then Catherine goes, do you dare me? Because it was something like she told Veronica to just shut up and just step back or something, like, because I'll hurt you or something like that. And then she's like, you're not going to be as lucky in that situation because there's witnesses all around. Okay, so then Jeffrey's like, all right, just stop, you guys. Mrs. Cryer, just stay calm. And then she's like, who are you? Like, why are you even talking to me? She goes, I'm Anna. She goes, yeah, you said that already. Now, who are you? And then he's like, oh, she goes, Jeffrey, I'm waiting for an explanation. He goes, well, I'm trying to explain if you would just calm down. And she's like, well, I'm waiting. Hurry up. You know, explain. She goes, I'm Anna. She's like, you said that already. Can we please get, you know what I mean? And she goes, so who are you? She goes, well, Dr. Jarvis and I offer rehab to people who could do it from home. She goes, okay, rehab. Then what is he doing here? She goes, well, he wasn't doing so well with the detox, and we don't have all the equipment we would need to handle that at the house, so we had to bring him in. She goes, here, you can search this up. We have an 80%. Now, here's what I'm interested about this girl, Anna. She was crying, almost. Why? I didn't understand that, because there was a couple... Okay, there was a couple moments I was like, alright, you know, maybe she's just really invested in her job. But then I was like, nah, because you sitting up there nearly crying your eyes out. Like, could barely... And I thought Catherine was going to say something like, why are you crying? Like, I don't know. And the Jedi, I seen the Jedi as part of it. I haven't watched the whole thing because I had to go to work. And I was watching it on the aux cord in my car. I wasn't driving. I was like, I got to work early and I was watching it and I didn't get to finish it. But he said that there was like this look that she kept giving. He was like, what was that? Is this Celine's daughter? And is that her brother in there? Is that why she's acting like that? I don't know, but she was nearly about to cry. And she goes, well, here's our car. You know, we have an 80% success rate. And Veronica goes, you will fail with him. And Catherine is like, Veronica. And then Jeffrey said the same thing. He's like, Mom, really? And then she goes, what? She will. We had one of the best facilities in the U.S. and he still failed with us. Like, come on now. He will fail. And then, so Anna's like, you should be proud of him. She goes, proud? She goes, I put him in several rehabilitation centers and he's always failed. So I don't know what I would have to be proud about at this moment. She goes, well, I don't know if he's ever quit cold turkey before, but turkey. I don't know if he's ever quit cold turkey before, but he called us on his own. And then Anna's like, has he ever done that before? And then Catherine's like, no, he hasn't. So she is showing some type of, okay, maybe he really does want to get help. And then so Jeffrey is like, no, so she goes, okay, well, when he gets, you know, stable, I want to see him. And Jeffrey's like, I don't think that's a good idea. And she's like, I'm his mother. I haven't seen him in days. And then Jeffrey goes, well, you are a big source of agitation for him. You know, really into psychologist mode. And then she's like, Jeffrey, are you kidding me? And he's like, Miss Cryer, look, I'm not trying to tell you anything. I'm just saying, if you really want him to get better, you know, sending him into a mode of stress, you know how he gets, maybe you should just cool it for a little bit. And then, cause she's like, so you're telling me I can't see my son? And he was like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you can't see him right now. You know, really, you know what I'm saying? And she's like, are you sure this is going to work, Jeffrey? And he's like, look, he already made the first step. He called on his own. I didn't do it. You know, so... Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, he's like, he called on his own. I didn't do anything this time. You know, it was all him. So that, he's doing well. She's like, okay, thank you, Jeffrey. Like, I'm so glad you have your father's heart. You know, shading Veronica. And he's like, no problem. You know, I'm just really trying to make the process go easier. And then she walks away. So, cause she's going to the morgue to see Hannah. Alright, so I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh no, okay, I almost skipped like a whole thing. And when when they're all over Wyatt and stuff like that, she was like, that's why I told her not to give him the money. She's talking about, Catherine is talking about Jennifer. She's like, because now look what he's done. Because she has no idea what's going on. She doesn't know why he's at the hospital. So then when she tells her it's drugs, she goes, I told that witch not to give him the money because he was just going to spend it on drugs and hoes. And that's exactly what happened. He spent it on drugs and now he's in the hospital. She goes, I told her not to give him that money, but she just wouldn't listen. And Veronica goes, oh, you showed her, didn't you? And she goes, and I'm about to show you. And then that's when Veronica was like, well, I don't know, because this witness is all... So, just wanted to get that in there. Sorry, you guys. Almost missed it. And then Catherine kind of makes a snide remark about Wyatt, saying, well, I hope he could work miracles at this facility. And Jeffrey's like, you know, he is doing really well, Mrs. Cryer. So, okay. Let's move on. So, then we switch to Hannah and Benny. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I took the glasses off and was tearing up. Like, I was just done. You know what I'm saying? I was done. And he goes, Mom, can I get you anything? She goes, what I want, you can't get. And he's like, yeah, I know, Mama. And then she goes, how are we going to bury him? How? She goes, I don't have any money. We don't have anything. How is no insurance? How are we supposed to? And then Benny's like, Mom, don't worry about that. Like, I'm going to figure something out. I'll handle it. She goes, how? I can't afford a casket. And then Mitch chimes in and was like, Miss Young, I'll make sure he's got everything he needs. And he's like, see, Mama, Mitch is going to handle it. And then she was like, maybe we can call Mayfair because they buried Lizzie. So, you know, they won't charge much. And he's like, okay, Mama, I'll do that. And then she goes, and go over there and get that game that I bought for him that he loved so much from the hotel. He loved that game. And he's like, all right, Mama. And she's crying. So Mrs. Cryer is coming in. she's just, you could tell how she reacted. She started walking up real slow because she saw how Hannah was, you know. So, and then Hannah goes, you called her, Benny? And she goes, he did the right thing, Hannah, you know. And he's like, I'm sorry, Miss Carter, like, I don't know what to do. She's like, it's alright, you know. And so Benny gets up, and then Catherine sits with her. And she goes, how are you? Like, how are you holding up? She goes, I'm not. She goes, I understand. And then Hannah's like, it's so senseless that this guy happened to him. She goes, it's just wrong. She goes, just the baby. He had nothing to do with any of this. And then a young man comes into our hotel room. Why? He was like, because of that girl. And they fighting over money that does not even belong to neither one of them. You know what I'm saying? And that really is the crazy thing. The money don't belong to neither one of them. Like, that's really the crazy thing. Now, the Jedi, I know you had, shout out to my big brother, he had issues with her calling her that girl. I wasn't mad at it. She would have been that thing if it was not. Let me stop. No, because Jedi, I'm going to have to get on you about this, though, because you, in that review, you was like, okay, but she got mad at Catherine for calling her 9. But okay, because when somebody's talking about your family, it's kind of like you can do it. But if somebody else does it, then it's, who are you talking about? Okay, I've tried that before. I was talking about some situation I was having with my dad. And, you know, whatever, just falling out with the pops, you know what I mean? And she said something about my dad, like his character, and I was like, you know, I wasn't going to get rude with her because I was kind of giving her incentive, but it was just kind of like, calm down, because when somebody's telling me something about their family, so you just know there's a certain line that you're not going to cross because that's their family. You want to try and give them advice as much as you can, but don't come out and calling them names and stuff. Only I could do that. You know what I mean? So I'm going to have to get on you for that, alright? But, much respect, much love. So yeah, she was like, you know, fighting over money that don't belong to neither one of them. Okay? And she was like, now I won't get to see him grow up. Now I won't get to see him happy. She goes, oh God. She goes, breathe. She goes, I am, but he's not. Do you understand that? He's not. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And then Catherine's like, I would tell you to calm down and pull yourself together, but I won't because it doesn't work. I've tried it. She goes, and nobody else is going to understand unless they've lost the child personally. They won't understand. She goes, and I want you to know you're going to hear some ridiculous things from people. She goes, because when Amanda died, I heard it all. She goes, I remember getting sympathy cards saying, we know you loved her, but God loved her best. She goes, I was so mad, but I knew they meant well. Even though it wasn't helping, I knew that they meant well. But it didn't comfort me. She goes, but a really great friend told me it all comes in waves. God sent it that way so you won't get overwhelmed by the grief. So here's what I need you to do. She goes, Hannah, you need to calm down and you need to pray. She goes, the funny thing is I don't feel nothing at all, Catherine. It's so strange not to feel nothing. She goes, that feeling passes because I've had it before with Amanda. She goes, then comes sadness, depression, rage. And then there's just you settling, trying to live a new way of normal. And Hannah goes, a new way of normal. She goes, ain't nothing normal about this much pain, this much struggle. She goes, you can't think about it like that, Hannah. She was like, no, seriously. My life has been from nothing to nothing. But I wanted to give that baby a better life. She goes, and I've always had such strong faith, but she goes, but God, you got some explaining to do. And that's when it was showing that even the strongest person of faith can sometimes start to question it when something really bad happens. You know what I'm saying? So that was that in that moment. She goes, all my life I've tried my best to do my best. No. She was like, not all her life, because that would be a lie. But she goes, I've done my best to live my life right. She goes, I've tried my best to do my best. She goes, but that baby is sitting there, she said, on a cold steel table. She goes, what is that? Why? Like, that's what I really said. When she said a cold steel table, I was done. And then Benny tried to come back over because he seen she was really getting, and he was like, Mama. And she goes, Hannah, you're okay? Because now she's crying really loud. She goes, I'm okay, but he's not. He is dead. I can't even do it. I can't do it. But she just starts shouting, "No, he is dead," and she's hysterical. And Mitch even tries to comfort her at one point because they're all coming up and hugging her. Mitch kind of tries to grab her hand, but then they just kind of realize they just need to back up and give her a little bit of room because that's what she needs. That's what she needs. So then we switch to Candace. Now, hold on a second. What I will say about that, okay? It was real. It was real. And when I was watching that scene, I said, wow, this actress, Crystal Fox, I said, she's done it. She's doing it. And actually, she has, I believe, done some Broadway musicals. And what is it? Nina Simone is her aunt. Now, that doesn't really correlate to her being such a good actress, but I just wanted to point that Nina Simone is they're related somehow. I think that might be her niece or something like that. But that actress, and I'm pretty sure she has been on Broadway. But that actress, she killed it for me. Now, the Jedi disagrees because he said he hates everything about her. But that was just, it was done. I can't even talk about it anymore. Deceased. Oh, we're going to be here all night, you guys. Okay, so I'm sorry. So then we switch to Candace. She coming out the bathroom with a robe on. Okay, Oscar's out there. She goes, you know what? And then he's like, Candace. Wait, what happened? He goes, I can't help you with this warrant. She goes, I don't want you to. Now get out. And he's like, you took all my surveillance out of this room. She goes, oh yeah, and I'll do it again when you leave. Because he tried to pull one over on her like, oh yeah, you got all of it. She was like, nah, and I'll do it again when you leave. And he was like, Candace, like, are you serious? This kind of went long, so I'm going to try and condense it as much as possible. Yeah, he was like, you know I'm paying for this room, right? She goes, does it look like I care? He's like, well, you should, because you ain't got nowhere else to go. Like, she goes, I don't care. I don't care. So what? You're not going to think you bossing me because you paying for the room. It don't matter. So he was like, Candace, come on. I need surveillance. I'm being paid by some powerful people to get him out of the race. She goes, it's too late. He's winning. Like, just stop. He goes, no, it's not too late. He was like, everybody thinks that he's so clean and he comes off like a choir boy, but nobody is that clean. And I can't find any dirt on him. You're the only one who's got anything, but I need it. He was like, come on, just do what you did last night, but I need it on camera. Just come on. And she goes, and why would I help you? He goes, because I'd be helping you. She goes, how? He said, you'd be the first lady of the United States. And she starts laughing. She's like, please. He's like, no, I'm dead serious. She goes, there's something called vetting, and I would not pass that. He goes, with my help? Come on. She was like, my face is all over the news for murder. He was like, all that has to do is be spun. She's like, get out. He was like, she goes, I'm telling you no. Just leave. And he goes, no. She goes, and even if I did give you dirt, she goes, how would I become first lady? Like, come on now. And he goes, not now, but in 8 years. She goes, 8 years. And at first I thought she was going to say, I'm going to be locked up in 8 years, but she didn't say that. So he was like, she goes, 8 years. And he's like, Candace, quiet. Don't you understand? He's in the room next door. She's like, I don't care. And then she goes, what are you even talking about? 8 years. And then he's like, yeah, not now, but in 8 years, Candace. She goes, if my guy wins, you could prop him up, freaking lead him all the way to the White House and be the first lady. She goes, 8 years. He goes, this is the long game, Candace. She goes, I'm not in this for the long game. He goes, that's your problem. You're always trying to get a quick buck. And that is her problem. She's always trying to get a quick buck. Like, which, if you're going to be a con artist, which is not a profession, okay, but people do make a living off of it. Don't knock a teacher. No. Okay, I can't get locked up for that, right? Because I'm just playing. Okay, if I get locked up, you fired. You know that, right? Because I'm not paying you from jail. Yeah, okay, so anyway. My bad. So, yeah. Wait. Yeah, he's like, that's your problem. You're always trying to get a freaking quick buck. And back to that. Exactly, Candace, because here's the thing. When we first met the Candace character, first of all, she was a prostitute. Okay? We ain't about to escort and all that. She was a prostitute. Okay? A streetwalker. A lady of the night. Okay? And remember, because she was in the room with Jim. Blah, 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 blah. Then we find out she's in law school. She's trying to pay for law school. So we was okay, at least the sister is about her business. You know, since she ain't got no money right now, she's trying to make ends meet. But then it's like, remember Professor Cannon, the guy who raped Amanda, gave her that letter so she could pretty much skip all the way to the bar and have her JD so she could be a lawyer. It's, you kidnapped Jim. No, matter of fact, yeah, well, okay, she got kidnapped. But even before that, when she got that $100,000, she was already slacking at school. Because you could have put that toward whatever you wanted. Because remember, David offered her, he offered her like a $100,000 scholarship or whatever. And she was like, no, I don't want this. I want cash. And then, so when she got the money, law school was out the freaking window. So that's what I don't like about Candace. You want to be a lawyer, and even Hannah said she would make a good lawyer, which that was kind of crazy. She was like, because you're a gifted girl, but you just want the money, Candace. And then, when the chips were down, when you got the money, but then your brother was questioning where you got it from, you called up Professor Cannon because she didn't know that he had got shot. No, I don't think he was shot by that time. She called Professor Cannon, and remember, she was like, hey, pervert, like, I need another letter because I lost the one that you wrote for me. But he never returned her phone calls, and then later he ended up being dead. Because Jim had him killed. So it was like, you could have been done that and went to school, Candace. Or at least take the $7.4 million and go back to school. But no, because remember, sorry, I have to get this out though. When she talked, I be going in on Candace just because this sister, she's such a gifted young sister. Okay, I'm talking about her like she, and it's just like, you doing this, why? You know what I'm saying? Like me, she's got brains and beauty. Like, we've got it made. Like, what I know. Alright, who laughed at that? Because you weren't laughing with me, you were laughing at me. So somebody's fired, you figure it out. Okay? So yeah, you could have went back with the $7.4 million, been like, okay, I'm rich and I'm going to school, but nah. When she got the money, what did she tell Benny? She said, Benny, we never have to. First of all, she never gave Benny an exact number until the very end. When him and Hannah showed up at the house and was like, you know, blah, 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 where did you really get the money? I know you don't work at that job, blah, blah, blah. But when he came to the hotel that day, she was like, Benny, we never have to worry about money ever again. Why? Because you never plan, and you telling him he pretty much don't need to be doing nothing, and all that y'all just gonna live lavish. But first of all, she knew he wanted the tow yard, so, okay, sorry. Moving on, okay. So, yeah, he's like, you're always just trying to get a quick buck, Candace, but you need to understand that, he was like, you've been tripping over money. No, he goes, you've been tripping over power to get money. She goes, but there's a difference. Power begets money. Money don't beget power. Okay, she goes, get out. And he goes, again, I'm paying for the room. She goes, again, I don't care. I'll leave. He goes, and go where? She goes, wherever I want. She goes, I was making it before you. He goes, no, you were hustling before you met me. He goes, this is the big leagues. Okay. Not that little pimp stuff that you be dealing with out in the streets. And then she goes, oh, so you want to be my pimp? He goes, no, I want to be your partner. Okay. He was like, come on, just give me what you have. And I'll take it from here. She goes, I don't have anything. He was like, I know you, Candace. You do. She goes, no, I don't. Now get out, once again. And he's like, you got 3 more days before he goes to D.C. Get him. And she's like, get out. And he leaves. So then we switch back, and I'm over Oscar. I'm over him. And I'm hoping that Tyler doesn't try to give us this toward the end. He realizes that she wasn't like another con, and he really is in love with her, and da-da-da-da. I'm over Oscar. There's no romantic relationship for Candace and him. There never should have been in the first place, alright? Because, I don't know, I get that vibe. You keep coming around too much, and I'm over it. Okay? So, and Candace is still a little sweet on him, because whenever he insults her, Candace usually really don't care about that, but when he does it, she acts a little hurt, like, this is the guy I was in love with. It's time to move on, girl. So then we switch back to the hospital, okay? And the doctor comes out, he goes, Mrs. Harrington, and she goes, well, how is she? He goes, the mother's fine. She goes, the baby. He goes, oh, the baby's good, but she lost a lot of blood. She goes, so is the baby gonna be okay? He's like, yeah, but, he goes, you can see her now. She goes, no, I don't want to do that. I have things to do. He goes, she's, you know, kind of going through some depression right now. And she goes, does that affect the baby? And he goes, no, but the mother can be, she goes, the baby. Is the baby okay? And he goes, yeah, the baby is fine. And then he was like, yeah, but she could probably see a friendly face. And she goes, yeah, I know, that's why I'm not going to show mine. She goes, like I said, I have other things to do. And she goes, so is any of this affecting the baby? He goes, well, I don't think so. She goes, okay, great. And then, hold on. And then she goes, okay, come on, let's go home, Jeffrey. He's like, no, I want to see her. And she goes, what? What are you talking about? And he goes, I want to see her. And she goes, why? He's like, to make sure she's alright. And then she's like, no, you don't. She goes, you want to see Wyatt? He's like, yeah, him too. And what? She goes, no, you're not doing that. You're going home. He's like, no. And then he walks away. Okay, so he was like, which you gonna be leaving by yourself because yes, I'm going to see my best friend and I'm going to see Melissa. So peace out. Then we switched to Jim and Mama Rose, which by the way, this is the new Mama Rose. Okay, but she's doing well, so I'm not gonna complain about it. This scene went long. No, we needed everything, but dang. So she goes, Jim, you know what happens when I'm not happy and I'm not happy? And he's like, yes, I do know what happens, and why aren't you happy? She goes, my grandson got shot at. And he goes, are you serious? And she goes, yeah. And she goes, by some young thug named Ward. Like, how do you know him? And then she actually makes a reference. She goes, remember those race riots in '08? And he goes, I remember those vividly. She goes, that's how angry I am. Now, who was Ward? He goes, like a thug from off the street. She goes, how do you know him? He goes, Candace. And she goes, that girl you wouldn't let me get rid of? And he's like, yeah. She goes, go on. She's like, she had him kidnap me. And she goes, oh, so this kid's an idiot. And he's like, yeah, she had him hold me for ransom. She goes, how much? He's like, $7.4 million. He goes, wow, this kid is an idiot. And Jim is like, yeah, he is. And then, so, he goes, so what happens? So what happened? He goes, yeah, you know, he's an idiot that Candace used as a puppet. Then he finds out Candace cheated him out of some money, set him up, put drugs in his car. I met him in jail, and we struck up a deal. She goes, what kind of deal? He goes, I needed something from him. She goes, I'm not in the mood to pull things out of you. He goes, they have photos of me in compromising positions. She goes, oh, okay. She goes, now it makes sense why you got him out of jail. And she goes, Jim, now you know I've always been there for you. And he's like, yes, and you know I've always been there for you. She goes, yes, you have. She goes, so... She goes, but that son of a went after my grandson and shot at him. And then Jim was like, well, he probably didn't know he was Malone. She was like, I don't care about none of that. My grandson got shot at by some wannabe gangster off the streets. Are you kidding me? She was like, I'm getting him killed. I'm having him killed. All this, that, and the third. And Jim was like, wait a minute. Let me talk to him. She's like, why are you protecting him? He goes, I'm not protecting him. I'm protecting us. If you go down, he's like, that means I got a heck of a lot to worry about. Because, you know, the Malones probably get arrested and stuff like that. But Jim was a judge. So that's how she probably meant he had their back. And then, bam, in return, keep my family out of jail. I got you. So that's how they was doing. So he was like, if you go down, I got a heck of a lot to worry about. So I don't want your dirty laundry out there because I don't want mine out there. He was like, she goes, well, I don't care about none of that. My grandson got shot at, and now it's a problem. And he's like, okay, well, let me just call him. She goes, call him. He's okay, I will. She goes, call him now. Gets Ward on the phone. And he goes, is this Ward? No, he's like, do you know who this is, whatever? He goes, yeah, what do you want? He goes, you shot at the wrong person. He's like, look, I didn't know that kid was in there. And he goes, kid? What are you talking about? He was like, Candace's son. I didn't know he was in there. And then he's like, look, you shot at the wrong person. He's like, look, that little kid shouldn't have been in there. He's like, and I was like, well, like, you already so dumb. You just told on yourself to a federal judge. Like, are you kidding? I can't. So then he's like, I'm talking about another kid. He goes, Mitch? But with lack believability, because how did you know he was talking about him? Why couldn't you have thought he was talking about Benny or something like that? I don't know. You guessed it too quick for me. He was like, Mitch? Like, and would you really consider him a kid? Like, I don't know. But you didn't know that he was a Malone. So I don't know. He guessed Mitch right off the bat after he told him he wasn't talking about QJ. Rest in peace, little man. So yeah, he goes, who, Mitch? He was like, yeah, Mitch Malone. He was like, so what, I'm supposed to be scared? He was like, I ain't scared. He was like, look, tell me where you are so I can pick you up. He was like, that's not happening. At least he was smart enough to know that. He was like, all right, calm down. He was like, but he was like, why you want to protect me, huh? He's like, remember, you didn't get those photos, right? Because he doesn't know, Jim already knows that they had the photos already. But he doesn't want Ward to be suspicious. So he goes, he's like, why are you protecting me? He's like, oh, because you don't have those photos yet. So if you don't have those photos, that means my access isn't covered. So I got to protect you to protect what's mine. And he's like, oh, okay. He was like, well, when are you getting the photos? He's like, I'll let you know. He's like, okay, well, when you do. And then he hangs up the Ward already hung up the phone, though. So, yeah. And then he hangs up the phone, and we see Warlock say, I'm tired of this. And then she goes, give me the number. And then so he gives his phone to Mama Rose, and she has a guy. She goes, trace this number and kill him. And then he goes, wait, let me see if I can find him first. She goes, you better find him before I do. He's like, I'll do my best. Okay, and then he goes, so I've been watching the news. It only says that Jennifer Salison's body is missing. What are your plans for the body? She just sat there like this. Like, I'm not about to tell you nothing. So then he just got up and he's like, thanks for the drink. Because that was their restaurant that he was sitting in. I think it was actually called Mama Rose. I didn't catch, or Malone or something like that. I didn't catch, moms always have like a restaurant or something. So I was like, this is probably their restaurant. And it was. Okay. So, yeah, he says, what are your plans for the body? She ignores him. He goes, thanks for the drink. And he leaves. I'm interested to see about this because if you know Jeremy, I'm not going to say his last name because I don't remember it, but he's got a channel called JCC Theories, and he does the heck out of theories about things that are going to happen on the haves and the have-nots, and he actually talked about a gang war breaking out between War and the Malones, and he said this maybe about a year and some change ago, or so, it might not have been that long, it was a while ago, like it was before I would have guessed any of this. And he was right, because it looks like that's what's happening. So check out JCC Theories, because he be having some good videos up there. He does a whole bunch of videos. They're really good, so check him out. So then we switch, and check out Rel C, because y'all know Rel C got videos coming. Rel, I still gotta watch Tales, because I have not even seen that show yet. But I've been looking for another, they're not replaying it. So I gotta see what's going on with that. But I watched your review, it was killer. Okay, it makes me want to watch it even more. So shout out to Rel C. Yeah, just wanted to get those in there, but I will be doing shout-outs in upcoming weeks, okay? So then we switch to David, okay? He's driving, and Jim calls him. He goes, yeah, I just left Mama Rose. She's, like, mad as heck. And he goes, about what? He was like, war. About this war kid. And he was like, Jim, you know this is a powder keg waiting to spark. And he's like, yeah, tell me something I don't know. He's like, we can't have Mama Rose upset. He's like, David, you're still not telling me something that I don't know. And he goes, okay, he's like, we have to find him. He goes, the guy who found Wyatt. And then David goes, Oscar. He's like, yeah, Oscar. Can he be trusted? He goes, yeah, I think so. He's like, I don't need you to think so, David. I need you to know. And he's like, yeah, And then he goes, okay, well, do you have anything on him? And he goes, he was on probation. He's like, so you could throw his ass back in jail if he does anything wrong? He goes, well, he's off probation. He was like, David, come on, you need to get something on him just in case. And he goes, okay, I'll find something. And yeah, so then he goes, he's like, yeah, we need Oscar to find War. He's like, okay, he's like, so where are you going right now? He's like, I'm going to meet Jeffrey at St. Cloud Hospital. He's like, alright, I'll meet you there. So then we switch to the hospital. So I'm interested I see why Jim would want something on Oscar, but I don't know. Would Oscar ever be dumb enough to try and set up his own deal and get greedy and kind of say, forget David, he don't need to know about this? Would he be dumb enough to do that? Because I see why Jim wants some type of tab on him. We'll see. I don't know if he would double cross David, because he's technically a con artist too, or asset recovery. Bye. Okay. Then we switch to the hospital. Okay. Officer Justin and Detective Logan are trying to come up so they could talk to Hannah. So mind you, Hannah tells them, so Benny and Catherine are trying to say, no, not now. She's not in the mood for this. And then, but Hannah's ready to kind of give the statement. She goes, his name is Warwick Mency Lewis. He busted into my room looking for my daughter. And he goes, why? She goes, because they're both evil. And then Justin goes, Candace Young is her daughter. And he goes, can you take us to... Did he say that? Yeah, he goes, can you take us to your, No, he goes, yeah, so then Hannah's done. She walks, he keeps trying to ask more questions. And Benny and Catherine are like, okay, she's done. Like, we need to finish stuff another time. So then he goes, well, can you talk to us? Talking to Benny. And he goes, alright, sure, like, whatever. And then, so Justin is like, and you were there when all this happened talking to Mitch. And he goes, what's your name? He goes, Mitch Malone. And Justin is like, Malone. And then Detective Logan goes, Malone as in Gary and Frederica Malone? He goes, yup. He goes, son, grandson. And then he's like, alright, so tell us what happened. He's like, well, my mom just told you what happened. I don't know what you want to know. And then he's like, well, yeah, but why were you there? He's like, well, it's a motel, so we rented a room there. And then so he's like, okay, and what about you? Mitch, you like, we're friends. Like, they're just laughing at this because they asking dumb questions, but he goes, and what about Candace Young? Your sister? And I want to say at first, he goes, Benny Young, can we talk to you? Benny goes, how do you know my name? And he goes, you're Candace Young's sister, right? And they start asking him questions about Candace. So he goes, Candace Young is your sister. He was like, and where is she? He's like, I don't know. I called her. She's not returning my calls. And then he goes, actually, do you have a number that you can give us? And he goes, no. He's like, but you just said that you... He's like, look, I'm not giving you my sister's number, so you need to look somewhere else because I'm not about to help you. And then he goes, how tall are you? He goes, about 6'1". He goes, I'm taller than you. Why? He goes, because we know that there was 2 people involved in the stabbing of Quincy Maxwell, and it just happens that they're your height. And he goes, look, I'm not doing this right now. My nephew just died, so if you're going to come to me with this BS, no. And then, so he's like, do you wear bracelets? And he was like, you see my wrist? Obviously not. And he goes, look, you could talk to me now, you could talk to me down at the station. He was like, okay, well, you won't have to arrest me to get me down to the station anyway. And he goes, okay. He said, okay, what? He goes, Benjamin Young. He goes, that's my name. He's like, you're under arrest for the murder of Quincy Maxwell. And he's like, oh my God, like, are you kidding me? And so they put him in handcuffs, and Mitch is like, this is a joke. So they just laugh, and they taking him down to the station. So they trying to get word on Candace. Okay, Benny was like, I'm not giving you no word on my sister. He goes, you know she's wanted, right? He's like, yep. Like, well, it was just so dumb that you would have thought he was going to give you his sister's cell phone number. And then you had an effed up attitude. The detective had an effed up attitude, so I definitely wouldn't have gave you my sister's number. Because he going to say, you want to help your sister, right? And how was helping my sister giving you her number? I don't get that, because you had an effed up attitude already when you're standing here talking to me. So you want me to believe that you're going to help my sister. Yeah, okay. So, yeah. And then it's not coming back next week because the fake 4th of July. No shade. Like, I would have been sitting right on that nice couch watching that. Right after, because I got to work 4th of July anyway. So I would have sat right on that nice couch and watched the episode. But I guess since it's 4th of July, I know it's a big deal to other people. No shade. It used to be a big deal to me too. Nah, you know, we just used to barbecue, and it was never like a huge thing, like how people wearing the flags and all, you know, we just used to barbecue and stuff like that, and then go watch the fireworks. But now it's kind of blah, you know, especially since you educate yourself more on things, and I'm kind of not really feeling it. But, so anyway, yeah, so they're not going to have an episode next week because it's 4th of July, so it's coming back July 11th. And looks like it's going to be getting pretty good. So, yes. Make sure y'all are ready. Okay? Because I'm going to see you right here, July 11th. Check out Relsey's channel because he's doing these killer reviews. His All Eyes on Me. I definitely got to see the movie now. And he put up his first vlog where I got a shout out. Appreciated that. So check out his channel. Check out Relsey's channel. I'm just going to do some shout out to Doran Provis. Killer review. My main man Doran, you already know you do the killer reviews. Keith Turner, thank you so much for rocking with me from day one. Diva Queen, it was good to see you. Antonio Robinson, so glad you back watching my reviews. I haven't seen you in a mean minute. Jonah Booknight, I hope I said that right. Please correct me. I ain't gonna be mad at you. You should be mad at me if I said your name wrong. Appreciate you. You said you were hooked on my review. I love it. I love to bring you guys in. And I love the comments you leave. It just makes me want to laugh. So appreciate you. Who else? Because I don't want to forget any people. Torian Rain, appreciate you, brother. Let me see. Who else? Kim Irving, thank you, girl. Because I already know I'm forgetting people. And it's not, you guys are all equally important, but it's like, you know, there's so many names that they just start to, like, you can't pack them in. So, please let me know if I forgot you. I will get you next week. I had to do some type of shout outs this week because I said last week I was going to do them. I said the week before that. So I wanted to give you guys something. So thank you guys so much for watching. Congratulate a sister in the comments because, you know, I'm a graduate and everything like that. I'm a graduate, you know what I'm saying? Starting college in the fall. So I'm ready, you know what I'm saying? Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for rocking with me. I will see you, not next week, but July 11th. Check out the Jedi's review. What's up, big bro? Is the one and only your girl, Jada J. And you know what it is. I do not have school tomorrow. Peace.